Ah, neck pain. We've all been there, right? It just shows up, and it feels like a total mystery. Well, today, we're going to put on our detective hats and crack this thing wide open. We're going to see exactly how a clinician solves the case.
Seriously? Have you ever really wondered what goes on? You walk into a clinic with that nagging, stiff neck, what happens next? It's not just some random guessing game, you know? It's a real investigation, like a detective story, where they piece together all the little clues to find the culprit.
All right, so first things first in any good investigation, right? You gotta know the lay of the land. And for us, that means we're heading straight to the crime scene, the super complex, super interesting anatomy of your neck.
Okay, so check this out. This is basically the map of our crime scene. The core of the whole operation is the cervical spine. You've got 7 of these bones stacked up. They're called vertebrae. And in between, you've got these little cushions, the discs, and this whole web of ligaments holding it all together. This is where it all goes down.
Now, every crime scene has its quirks, right? Its unique features. For the neck, a really important one is this thing called lordosis. See that gentle inward curve? That's totally normal. But here's the clue, the real kicker. That lower part of the neck, it moves the most. And what does that mean? It's a hot spot. It's the area that's way more likely to get stressed out and injured.
Okay, scene is mapped. Now it's time to bring in the usual suspects. I'm talking about the muscle groups that make every single movement happen. We've got the flexors, they let you bend your head forward, the extensors for looking up, the lateral flexors for that side-to-side tilt, and of course, the rotators for turning your head.
All right, let's start the lineup. First up, suspect number 1, the upper trapezius. This is a big-time player, folks. It's a major muscle for looking up and turning your head. And you know that classic tension you get in your neck and shoulders? Yeah, this guy is almost always a person of interest.
Okay, next in the lineup, suspect number 2. Get ready for this name? The sternocleidomastoid. Yeah, let's just call it the SCM. It's that big ropey muscle on the side of your neck. It's a key player for nodding forward, but here's a cool little twist. It also helps you turn your head to the opposite side. Kind of tricky, right?
And to round out our first group of suspects, we have the scalenes. Now this isn't just one muscle. It's a team of 3. They help with bending and turning, sure, but they've also got a side hustle. They help lift your ribs when you breathe in deep. It just goes to show you how connected the whole shebang really is.
Okay, so we've got our crime scene, we've got our lineup of suspects. What's next for any good detective? You guessed it, it's time to interview the witness, the patient. This is where we gather all those subjective clues. It's all about getting their side of the story.
And this is basically the interrogation room. The clinician starts asking these super specific questions to build out the case file. You know the drill. What happened? How long has this been bugging you? And really getting into the details. What does it feel like? Is it sharp, dull, a burning sensation? And maybe the most important questions of all. What makes it feel better? And what makes it feel worse?
And listen to this. This is what that testimony might sound like. This one little sentence is just packed with clues. Sharp, burning. Okay, that tells us something about the type of pain. 7 out of 10. Boom, we've got a severity level. And gets worse when I look to the right. Oh, that is a huge clue. That points us right toward specific movements and, you guessed it, specific muscles. You can feel the case starting to come together now?
Okay, the witness testimony is super important, but a great detective knows you need hard evidence to back it up. So that brings us to the next step, the objective exam. This is where we get hands-on and look for cold, hard, physical proof. So this search for evidence usually follows a 3-step process. Step 1 is just observation, looking with your eyes. How's their posture? Is their head tilted? Any swelling? Step 2 is palpation. That's just a fancy word for gently feeling the area, checking for tenderness, tight muscles, even if one spot is hotter than another. And finally, step 3, motion testing. We need to see exactly how that neck is or isn't moving.
And that leads us to a massive piece of evidence, range of motion, or ROM for short. This is the real data. This is how the detective finds out if the system is working like it's designed to. If there's any limitation, any movement that's not quite right, well, that's a major clue pointing us straight to the problem.
So what's the gold standard we're looking for? Well, for flexion, that's tipping your chin to your chest, we want to see about 50 degrees.
Then, for extension, looking up at the ceiling, the benchmark is around 60 degrees. And for rotation, turning to look over your shoulder, a healthy neck should get you about 80 degrees. These numbers are our baseline. Anything off, and our detective's ears perk up.
And hey, this isn't just eyeballing it. To get that hard data, our detective pulls out a special tool. It's called a goniometer. It's basically a protractor for the body, and it lets them measure those angles with real precision. No guesswork, just objective facts for the case file.
But, sometimes the evidence you have just isn't quite enough. The case isn't a slam dunk yet. That's when our detective has to pull out the advanced interrogation techniques. We're talking about special tests that are designed to really zero in on the problem and confirm those suspicions.
Now check this out. This is so clever. Here are two tests that are basically opposites. First, you've got the compression test. The clinician puts a little gentle downward pressure on the head. If that makes the symptoms flare up, that could point to a pinched nerve. But then they do the distraction test, a gentle upward pull. And if that makes the pain go away, bam, that's another huge piece of confirming evidence. It's a brilliant way to cross-examine the clues.
Okay, let's recap. We've interviewed the witness, we've collected physical evidence from the crime scene, we've even run some advanced tests. Now, it's time for the big finale, the final act, putting all those pieces together to finally crack the case.
And this, right here, this is the moment of truth. The exam form is like the detective's evidence board. Every single clue, from the story about sleeping funny, to that goniometer reading that was a little off, to what happened during that compression test, it all gets documented right here. And suddenly, all these scattered bits of information, they're not scattered anymore. They form a picture, a coherent story that points directly to the culprit and gives us our diagnosis. Case closed.
So I guess the big takeaway here is that pain isn't just random. It's not meaningless, it's information. It's a clue that your body is sending you. And now that you've seen this whole investigation play out, from scoping out the crime scene to the final diagnosis, it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What clues might your own body be giving you right now?